he's going to talk a little bit about how to take control over your commercial buildings here. I'll let you go ahead, Mikael, and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Mikael Floberg, and I'm from ICA Real Estate. I've got the opportunity today to give a little glance of what we are doing and planning to do in regards of smart buildings. But first of all, I would like to take a chance to provide some information about the ICA Group. The ICA Group is a leading retail company with focus on food and health. We do have approximately 30,000 employees in Sweden and in Baltic, and we are listed on the Nasdaq or Next Stock Exchange. This is a quite important thing for us. We have a vision. We make every day a little easier. And that's how we try to live and how we try to work each and every day. We also have 3 values that we use, and it's simplicity, entrepreneurship, and commitment. Once again, we try to make a difference in everything that we do. The ICA Group also has several revenue streams, and of course the largest one is from stores and pharmacies. But we also have revenue streams from supply chain, from bank and insurance, and from where I'm from, properties. And moving on to ICA Real Estate, just a brief presentation. We are one of the largest commercial property firms in the Nordic retail segment. We acquire, develop, and manage properties at the right place and the right location for the group. We have a strong commitment to improving environmental efficiency, and we do own approximately 140 buildings in Sweden, and then we sublease approximately 670 agreements just to secure the location. So that's the ICA Real Estate in the group. Now, to today's subject, taking control and smart building analytics. We are doing this because digitalization trends, such as smart buildings, are the main drivers how we develop our properties now and in the future. Digitalization and Internet of Things increases the demands on new services from our tenants and their clients or customers. And that is in regards of efficiency, simplicity, and people-oriented services. The key part for us, and I will get back to that, why we are starting this program is actually that we need to take an active ownership in regards of all digital communication to and from and within our properties. I think this is a challenge for most property owners today because the facility management network is quite open. There are a few firewalls and stuff like that. So we need to take control, and that's in regards of security, management, and supervision. So we started a program. I will get back to that. But to start a program, we need to have something to lean on. So we have chosen Microsoft Maturity Model for productive buildings or smart buildings. So this is actually our main guideline. And it's divided into 3 parts: connected, efficient, and productive. The connected part is more or less facility-centric, and the productive part is more or less people-centric. And the key in this model is that you need to start at the bottom, and that's what we are doing. So we have launched a program, and it's actually a program, it's not a project, that we call Connected Properties. This program will consist of several projects or pilots and stuff like that. But we look at this in a long-term perspective, not 1 year, not 2 years. We look at this in 5-year perspective or even longer. So, getting back to the maturity model, stolen with pride from Microsoft, I know. Connected, and this is actually the basic. We need to secure the network infrastructure. It might be boring, but it's fundamental for us to move forward. If we can't secure the basic infrastructure, we can't move forward because we can't rely on the data. We can't rely on on that the sensors are talking to us and not to other people or thieves or whatever. So, the first project within connected properties is the connected buildings. We have started to roll out the secure communication to all properties. We as a company are a little bit fortunate because we can use the technologies from the store networks. All our stores do have a store network today in regards to transaction from cash and online lottery and stuff like that. So we do not need to do any investments in firewalls or fibers or routers or switches. We can use existing ones. We need to do some configuration, of course, but that's quite cheap. So that is ongoing. That's a project that is ongoing. We are combining that with another project with our assistant company, ICA Sweden. So I guess that we will be finalized for all stores in Sweden, and that is actually 1,500 stores by June next year. In parallel, we are starting a project to set up sensors and start collecting the data. This is quite new for us. We are just starting up that project. We will have our first steering committee meeting in 2 weeks. But the primary reason to start this is that we need to collect data for electricity, district heating, and water consumption. That's our main focus. And why are we doing this? Today, we are collecting data from media consumption manually, meaning that someone needs to go into the building and read a meter, sign it somewhere, and send it in to us. It ends up in an Excel spreadsheet where someone in finance or myself or asset manager needs to combine those figures with the cost to divide that into different tenants, because we have a lot of tenants in our buildings, and then we need to send invoices, and that is a manual work. Our target is to make this automatic, to get the figures from the buildings, preferably into some kind of financial or BI system, get the modulation done, and then send the invoices. So that's our target for this project. But as I said, we just started this kind of project, so we will try our way for the future. So we will see where we end up. If you have any question, please do not hesitate to interrupt. The second part of this, as we look at it, is the efficient building. And the way that we look at an efficient building is actually when we have control and management of real-time media consumption, because that is key for us. If we get the control, we can save time, we can save money, and we can save a lot of manual work. So our co-workers can do better things than just to do manual work inside a building or reading meters. An efficient building for us is also automated control of all technical systems and objects within the property. That's key. An example is, I know this is actually working today. Parking assistance. When I was driving here today, I was in a parking lot and there were both green lights and red lights. So it's happening, and it's been on the market for a while. But from our perspective, we need to take it a little bit further. We need to make sure that our customers or the store customers who drive an electric car, they need to know where they can charge, even before they enter our marketplace. We need to tell the clients or customers where can I find a family parking, or where can I find a free parking lot. So that's part of that. And from our perspective, if we're going to move forward to an efficient building, we also need to start working with pattern recognition. And that's from a building perspective or property perspective. It's from a customer perspective. It's not only the movements in the store, but from a customer perspective, how do they behave on our marketplaces? And of course, from a traffic situation, the traffic to our marketplaces, the traffic within our marketplaces, and how they drive away from our marketplaces. This is key for us. It's key in terms of security and stuff like that. If we then, which we are planning or thinking about, can combine third-party services or applications or data with building information, then we think that we can be even more effective. We were talking about cooling and heating and stuff like that. If we can take the data from a weather channel, for example, tomorrow, we know that tomorrow will be very cold, then we can start to heat up the building 1 hour before we started today, or vice versa. If it's going to be very hot, we can start the cooling. And that is key actually, because we need to increase environmental efficiency. And that's one way to do that. So from our perspective, efficient building is more or less about sensors and start working with pattern recognition. We're not there yet, but we're aiming to be at the control and management of the real-time media consumption in, well, a couple of months at least. The third part is a productive building. This is more people-centric than facility-centric. I think that we have a long way to go before we're there, but anyway, it's a self-learning building, working with pattern recognition. We have automated ordering of spare parts. That would be great. We have automated adaptation of indoor climate. I don't need to bring the weather data. It's just working. Personalized marketing and shopping. That's a quite hard one in regards of the regulations in Europe and Sweden and stuff like that. But I think that we will move over there as well. Some kind of identification of me as a man or stuff like that. If we are successful in productive buildings, I'm sure that we can create a lot of new types of services and applications. And actually personalized information for all categories of people, because this is more or less people-centric or customer-centric. This is for the customers. Where can I find? How will I know? Am I secure? Can I walk on this path? How do I get from my car to the store without risking being hit by a car or hit by a bicycle or anything like that? So this is very much about personalized information for you as a customer. I think we have a few years away, but still. So back to where we are today and why we're doing what we're doing. When you start up a project like this, I guess that you need to have some quick return on investments. Otherwise, you will not be successful. You need to be able to act rapidly, and you need to be able to show your steering committee or your managers that there is a good investment for their money. We have, as a property owner, we have this situation today. This is one of our largest challenges, and I guess that's most property owners' challenges. We have an analog facility management, which means that we have an increased maintenance. We have an increased maintenance depth, and we have an increased energy consumption. We have also, and that's us and our partners, we have a reactive behavior. We wait until things are broken, until we fix them. We have today a lack of traceability, a lack of automation, and a lack of innovation. We need to move forward. And unfortunately, we have poor or no collection of data, analyze of property data. That's why we are starting this Connected Property program. We need to move forward. And what we're striving at is actually, wrong way. It's a digitalized facility management, where we can increase the knowledge of how to operate and manage the building. That will be key for us. We can streamline and have the best of breed operational management from our perspective, from our facility management partners' perspective, and from our owner's perspective. That will mean that we have the decreased maintenance cost, and that will mean that we can do something else for that cost. We can invest those money in another way. And an increased maintenance cost will also increase the property value, meaning that our owners will be very happy. This is key. Well,
that was a little bit about what we are doing. I have some final words before we end this. What we are thinking about is you need to have a structure. We have chosen Microsoft maturity model as our guideline, but we also need to have some kind of roadmap or structure in regards of moving forward to a productive building or smart building anyway. You need to have processes in place. You need to have your core processes in place. But you also need to be able to change those processes, because there will be changes. You need to have some kind of architecture in place, a digital architecture or whatever you want to call it. You need to have that in place, but you also, in this area, need to be able to change, because there are technology changes each and every day in the market, and talking about smart buildings and sensor, we are still in the beginning. We are not even in the middle, we are in the beginning of this innovation. So processes in place, digital architecture in place. Least but not last, last but not least, the organization. People are important. You need to have a buy-in from your organization. The organization needs to be aligned with your project and the goals and targets of your project. You need to have people in the organization asking, why are we doing this? For whom are we doing this? And what's the purpose of doing this? Are we doing this from a pure technology perspective, or are we doing this from a more people-centric perspective? I got one example that my co-worker asked a couple of days ago. What is most important? A talking trash bin telling you that I need to be emptied, or personal security walking on a parking lot? So you need to decide, are we going the technology part and do it for the technology reason, or are we doing it for other reasons? For personal, for people, and stuff like that. So this is key. My last slide for today. It's also stolen with pride. I think it's very good. Today, all buildings, all properties are spanning with information of data from all kinds of systems. But do we need all the data? I'm not sure. For what and for whom are we using this data, or are we going to use the data? We have the property owners, we have the tenants, and we have the customers somehow interested parts of this. And the property owners, they would like to decrease the costs and increase the values. So are we using the data to make them happy? The tenants, at least from our perspective, the tenants are paying a lot of rent. They would like to have more services or more whatever in regards of their rent. Provide me with more value. So how can we provide value to the tenants? Are we using the data to provide value to the tenants? I don't know. And the customers, we need to make our customers or the store customers to feel secure when they are in the marketplace. We need to provide them with information to make their day a little bit easier. Where can I find? Where do I go? Am I secure? And stuff like that. So, to sum up, we are just in the beginning of this technology change, smart buildings. We are moving forward. We will do some investment that will not pay off. And that's the truth. But I've been clear about that towards my management team, and they have said, okay, that's okay. As long as we are having a main objective that we're working against, and we have a target that is aligned with our business and goals within the business. That's okay. So I think that you should ask yourself, what should we do? Why are we doing it? And for whom? and start with the low-hanging fruit or areas where you can find a quick return of investment. That's it for me. Any questions?